Hello there, my name's Julie, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about why I'm not having a word of the year for 2026 and what I'm going to be doing instead. I've had a word of the year for 5 years now. These are my pages from 2025, and in my video for last year I talked about how if I didn't feel that word of the year had been productive for me in 2025, then I wouldn't be attempting it again. So that's where I find myself. Maybe some of you can relate. My word of the year last year was habit, and I was probably way too ambitious because I had 6 habits that I wanted to embed, and as you can see, I only got as far as planning for 2 of them. In that video, I talked about how word of the year is a word to focus on throughout the year rather than simply make a pretty page at the start of the year and then forget about it. And even though I created pages with action steps for me to follow, I'm really not good at being disciplined. So although my intention was to film videos throughout the year and talk about my progress, that just didn't happen. People do ask, how do you find your word of the year? And I will say that for the past 5 years, a word has jumped out at me. Here you can see some of my past word of the year spreads. But this year, probably because I'd already made up my mind that I wasn't going to have a word of the year, nothing spoke to me, and I decided to try something else instead. So let's show you what I'm going to be doing and why. This is my creative journal for 2026. I've already completed around half of the pages ready for the year. But I made sure that at the end of every month I left a double page spread that I could use for a monthly review, which is something that I've never done in all my years of planning. I'm going to be using Live Love Posh's Winter Blooms to decorate this page, and the idea I had was because it's one of my intentions to use more floral stickers this year, as I have a huge collection, I'm going to make every single review page a floral themed page so that I use up at least 12 different sets of florals throughout the year. My plan at first was to set up all 12 pages, although in this video I will only be doing the January review pages, otherwise it will be a very long video. But then I remembered that when people ask how far ahead they should decorate their planner, I always advise them to hold off decorating too far in advance, because sometimes you need to be flexible and things change. So now I'm wondering whether I should do the January pages, see how this page works out for me at the end of January, and take it from there. So I'm not sure, but I am planning to do a flip through of this planner near the start of the year. So if you look out for that, you will find out whether I just did January or the other months as well. What I've done is print things out on sticky paper, ready to stick onto the pages. Here are some prompts that I've made, a little bit like the Happy Planner guided journals have prompts, although I've never really liked those questions, so I could make sure I tailored these to me. Because the point of a word of the year is to give you something to focus on, and hopefully things that you want to improve, you can improve over the year. So when I go through these prompts with you, I'll talk a little bit about how I'm hoping to make that work. I wanted to keep these pages simple because the main point of them is to write in them, but I think florals on a page always looks really pretty. I've got one of my May pages. I put florals all the way round, and it's a nice easy thing to do. but I also like to combine florals with script washi, and because this is about writing and journaling and reflecting, I thought I would pair the florals with some script washi as well. Along the top I've just chosen some Planything washi. That coordinates really well with these florals that I've chosen for this page. I do put a link to all the shops that I refer to in my videos, as well as my affiliate codes if you're shopping and looking for a discount. It helps me out at no cost to you. You may be thinking this is very similar to a currently page. Let me show you my currently page for January. That does have prompts on it. So I've got a goal, prioritising, avoiding, buying, eating and trying. So that does cover some things, but this is more a place for reflection and going in a little bit deeper about the struggles I have in the month, as well as hopefully some positive things from the month. I'm trying not to make it too negative and congratulate myself on what I have managed to accomplish in the month, even if it's only something very small. So this is, I feel, quite different from a currently page. The one thing I'm going to have on these pages that I used to put on my currently pages is an in the news section, because I'm very interested in the news, although I am trying to watch less of it because I do find it does bring me down a little bit, the state of the world today. But I do believe you should be informed about what's going on in the world around. So I want to have a section on this page to put key events and my reflections on that each month. When I had it on the currently page, I did find that I ran out of room to write. I don't know whether to have it underneath, or I think I'll have it on here. I'm not sure if that's exactly centered, but I think that'll be all right. Now, although this sticker book does have corner pieces that I could use for the corners, they are rather large, and as I said, I want this to be mainly for reflection. So what I'm going to do is cut one of these florals into 4 so that I have 4 smaller corner pieces. Just a little tip from me. I'd love to hear in the comments whether you are trying a word of the year, whether for the first time or it's something that you regularly do this year. I'm certainly not knocking anyone who does it, but it is supposed to be different from having a New Year's resolution, and I've found that for me, just like with New Year's resolutions, I'm not really carrying them through past January or February. And I do watch a few word of the year videos each year from planners, and some of them do reflect on how the previous year went, but others just seem to move on to the next year. So I don't know overall how effective they are. I do think it's really good to have something to aim for the year, and to be reflective about how life's going and changes you could make for the good. I'm using this sticky easy sticker removal mat because I've cut the sticker from the book. Let's see how easy it comes up. There it is. If I put this in the corner, it does cover up the washi. So I think I'll start from underneath the washi, like that. And I mustn't forget to add the script washi either, which I'll probably put at the bottom. This is my favourite script washi tape, but it's a little bit wide, so I'm thinking of cutting it in half so that I can make it go a little bit further and also leave more room for my reflections. You can trim down your washi with your paper trimmer. Try and put it centrally well I did there, but we'll see. I can always trim it down if need be. I think this page will turn out really pretty. I will need to trim a little bit of this off. They weren't quite even. But that's okay. I'm never sure which way I need to turn the page to do the trimming. I think maybe this way. Not perfect, but I think it will do. I've trimmed off the washi. Now, do I want to overlap the washi at the bottom, which is always a nice effect, or start from here? I think I will overlap it. I did look on YouTube for inspiration for review pages. I didn't find an awful lot. There were lots of review pages that were tracking statistics or steps or films watched or reading. But apart from the Happy Planner guided journals, less about actual sort of life reflection. I cut this one in half, so I'm going to use both halves. Just trim a little bit off, and this side will be done. And this little bit that I trimmed off here. And now do the same on the other side. I will say that for my word of the year last year, which was habit, I did find after reading that Atomic Habits book, I did learn that I could establish new good habits. So that was encouraging. But I also found that if you didn't keep the new habits up and you let them slip on more than one occasion or several occasions, it soon became that you would lose that habit. So it was kind of one step forward and one step back. Got that tiny gap there, so I'll fill that up with this floral. And another gap here. I can put these leaves. I need to clean these scissors. They are not cutting very well because they are so gummed up. But there we have either border of flowers and script writing. And now I just need to add the prompts to the page. I don't know if I'm going to use mild liners to denote an area for writing or leave it completely blank. I've been using mild liners a lot in my recent pages, like these winter pages that I did. but I'll decide that later. So with the prompts, I tried to start in a positive way with what did you accomplish this month? But then because I am a terrible procrastinator, I've included what was something you did that you had procrastinated about. Hopefully, if I'm keeping a check on this throughout the year, I might be able to accomplish 12 tasks this year that I've been putting off. Then sticking with the positive, what made you happy this month? And then, of course, I've left a slightly larger area for what did you struggle with, because I know there will be quite a few things. Next, I have how well did you take care of yourself, because a lot of the habits I was hoping to develop last year were about better sleep, less time on social media. So I really want to monitor that this year. Another thing as an introvert I struggle with is getting out of the house, because I spend a lot of time either with my parents who are elderly or on my own at home, making YouTube videos, spending time on social media, watching TV. And I recognise that it's good to get out of the house and into the world and try to see more people. I think it's really difficult when you're getting older to build new friendships. And those years of COVID affected my friendships, some for the good, but mostly for the worse. So it's a difficult one to work on. I've included what did you spend your money on, not just to put a check on my planner spending, but also I want to spend a little bit of money on things that need to get done this year and some little treats to myself to make my house a little bit nicer to live in. On the other page, I've got what were you grateful for or about. I'm always very grateful for everything I have, but it's good to write it down and reflect upon it. Then thinking ahead to the next month, I've put what one thing would you like to work on next month. I found it really hard to limit myself to one thing. I wanted to put down 3 things, but that takes me back to my word of the year last year where I was just trying to do too much. So to make it achievable, I'm going to set one thing each month and hopefully take some steps towards improving it. That's why I've put 3 steps to make it happen. And then at the bottom of the page, I've added other thoughts from this month in case there are other things I want to say. I'm really pleased with how the finished pages look, and hopefully it's going to be a useful tool for me to reflect on each month and maybe achieve some of my goals. As one of my 2026 goals is to completely fill up this planner by writing in it, then unlike my word of the year page, which I never came back to, the fact that I'll be using this journal throughout the year and coming across these pages at the end of every month should, I hope, make me take some action steps this year. Of course, ultimately it is up to me. So I know I've got to put a little bit more effort into things this year, but hopefully this as a tool will help me. Let me know whether you use your journal for self-reflecting and setting goals for yourself, and anything you found that really works well for you. I'd love to hear it. If you're interested in seeing more pages in this journal, then I have a link on screen to the video where I made my acetate window pages, with a little hack of how you can save some money by using Happy Planner packaging. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you'll join me again very soon.